I've noticed sitting outside, enjoying a nice cool drink, there are wasps all over the place. And this didn't happen last summer, I'm sure it didn't. They didn't bother me as much. Why?
There are a few more wasps around this year than there were last year. The weather is warmer, everyone's noticed that, and I think we're going to have a bit of a heat wave next week as well, which is great because I'm on holiday again. But we actually think that this year will be an increase in wasps, but not massively increased. If we have a really good summer this year and consistent temperatures next year, we're going to get a massive year next year.
And we talk about them as pests, but are they? I mean, do they serve any useful purpose, wasps?
Well, yes. I suppose everything has its place in in life. They feed on aphids. They are a prime predator. They do destroy some garden insects. So they do have their own place. They're perhaps not as beneficial as bees, though. Perhaps.
How do we? Last year, then we had fewer, and is that because it was a colder winter, or how did that happen? Because I guess it's all about stopping the queens before they start a new community.
We've had fewer and fewer wasps because of a succession of wet summers that has washed away a lot of the food source, such as pollen and nectar. So less food equals less population.
They're vicious little critters, though, aren't they? I mean,
yes.
You hear of people having multiple stings by wasps and wasps' nests. I mean, look at this one. This is horrendous. I'd be petrified if I saw that. I had one in a wasp. That's a wasp nest. I had one in my roof at one point. What should people do? And here's one in a boiler. What should people do? Where should they be conscious of looking or of avoiding something like this?
If wasps are coming into your house, you'll normally see them going in and out
of a tiny little hole.
Through a tiny little hole, either under a tile on a roof or through an air brick or something along those sort of lines. That means that there's a nest activity inside, and that means that depending on the time of year, it's either going to be a small nest, and again it depends on the temperatures because insects are temperature dependent, or it's going to be a large nest, and the one that you've just seen in the photo is a whopper.
Can you prevent yourself from having one, or is it just?
I think we really think it's luck of the draw.
And should you get rid of a wasp's nest if you've got one, and if so, briefly, how do you do that?
Okay. If it's in a place where it's not going to cause you any problems at all, then you could leave it alone. I would tend to get rid of it because of the dangers that they can bring.
Who do you ring? Do you ring the council? Do you ring a pest controller? Where do you go to?
Councils are doing less and less pest control nowadays with cutbacks. The British Pest Control Association has accredited members who professionally know how to do these things.